Welcome to the next lesson of the Amazing Selling Machine, your performance checklist. Right about now, this is probably where you're at. Your product is live on Amazon. You have your initial product reviews. You've already executed or you're in the middle of executing a product launch. You're making a handful of sales each day and following up with those customers. So then, what's next after that? How do you continue to grow and scale your business? As you've heard so many people say, building a business is a marathon and not a sprint. We need to keep running and doing something each and every day. And you know that you need to do stuff to grow your business, but what exactly do you do? And how do you make sure you're doing the right things? Well, the answer is a performance checklist. It's so easy to get lost in all the things that you could do every day. You may forget the most important actions in favor of new or simple actions. Daily and weekly maintenance of your business is like taking care of your health. The only way to guarantee success in anything is consistent action. You need to make sure that you're doing the right things at the right time. You're going to own this checklist at first. Later, though, you can outsource it. Some actions need to be done daily, some weekly. It's best if you're consistent as possible with the days and times because it builds habits. We're giving you a performance checklist to start with, but it'll grow over time as you add your own tasks to it. You need to make this your own list. Now, let's take a look at it. Now, you can download this performance checklist below this video. And I don't recommend that you actually print it out. Instead, I recommend you making your own digital copy, like in Google Docs or Microsoft Word, or maybe in a spreadsheet. And that way, you can add things to it as you want to add more tasks. You might want to move things around and put them in order that you want to do things in, or maybe remove things that you don't think are applicable for you. Now, the performance checklist that you downloaded may look slightly different to this as it gets cleaned up and ready for everyone to download, but it should be pretty much the same. Also, some of the actions in here you might not know how to do yet, and we'll be covering them later in the course. So on a daily basis, here's what you want to do. You want to check and reply to any customer messages within the Amazon messaging system, and we actually recommend doing this multiple times throughout the day, because if you do not reply to something within 24 hours, Amazon will penalize you. And the quicker that you do reply to customers, Amazon will reward you with better seller metrics. You'll want to check your product reviews and respond as needed. Check for any seller feedback and respond as needed as well. And usually those are only the negative ones you need to take care of. You want to check for seller feedback that's actually a product review. And this happens sometimes. Someone loves your product and they actually give you a product review in the seller feedback section. And when that happens, it's perfectly fine to send them a message, thank them for the awesome product review, and say it was accidentally put into the wrong section, and would they mind putting it under the product review. You also want to check for questions or comments on your listing and respond to them as necessary. You want to check for refunds and contact those customers. Sometimes a customer's issue had nothing to do with you, it was just with Amazon or the delivery service, and you might be able to save the sale if you simply reach out to them. You'll want to check for other sellers that are on your listing and contact them if necessary. Now, don't worry about this right now. This doesn't happen very often, and sometimes you might hear the term hijacking is what people refer to this as. That's a terrible name for it. That's not really what it is, and we'll be talking about this later on in the course as well. But just for now, get in the habit of checking your products and making sure that no one else is trying to sell them. You also want to check your keyword rankings each day. And we recommend that you're not logged into your Seller Central account when you do this, because if Amazon knows who you are when you're logged in and doing a search, they're going to try to show you what they think you want to see, and that might not be what your actual search results are. You also want to do a basic inventory check every day, just to make sure that you're not close to running out of anything. And then there are traffic and conversion stats you want to check. Now, we're going to show you how to do these in a later lesson, but in general, you want to track these each day. Your sessions, which is how many visitors you had, the units ordered, which I'm going to call conversions, and then your unit session percentage, which I consider your conversion rate. And then you're also going to want to check your buy box percentage, which is related to when we talked about up here, where if someone else is selling on your listing, this will be a clear indicator. If it's anything below 90%, then there's a chance that someone else is trying to sell your product. You also want to make sure that you're doing all the social media and content marketing that you're supposed to do every day. 1 post on Facebook a day, 3 tweets on Twitter, 1 picture on Instagram, and 1 pin on Pinterest. Now, let's also talk about our weekly checklist. Now, there's other things we need to do on a weekly basis for social media. We want to track all of our fans and the engagement for each on our different social media channels. On Pinterest, our Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. See how many followers you have and if you're gaining them on each one of those. And also check and see how well your posts that week have been engaged. Are they getting a lot of shares and retweets? That'll be a sign that you're doing the right thing. Now, you also want to make sure weekly that you create and email content to your subscribers. And then if you can, create and post a video on YouTube. And then on a weekly basis, I like to do a more thorough review of our inventory and do some forecasting to determine whether or not you have inventory enough to carry you forward or if it's time to start reordering. I also like looking weekly at my sales trends over the past 7 days and the past 30 days. This tells me, are things trending upwards or are they trending downwards? And then last I put on here, and this is kind of important, do some supplier relationship building. I like to have scheduled periodic talks with my suppliers to make sure they know that we're engaged and interested in each other's business. And so it just makes sense to do this perhaps once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks would be a good time to do this. So hopefully that gives you an idea of all the different things that are on your checklist, and you can download this and create your own and start using it right away for your own business. And now it's time to take action. Download the performance checklist below this video, create your own version of it, and start doing your daily and weekly activities. And coming up, in the next lesson, we're going to learn about the most powerful advertising system on Amazon, Amazon Sponsored Products. Head on over, and I'll see you in that lesson.